So I'm a reality bender inspired by Steve Jobs, right? I'm gonna bend reality like a light form, like higher intelligence does with asteroids, right? I am going to give Ukraine back to Russia as first to lead the world army and the first no-ocracy republic because the majority wanted the smartest to lead. If the smartest guy makes every national leader irrelevant, essentially, hey, I should get to call the shots a little bit, right? I'm not going to end nationalism outright. Okay, that's more than I can chew. That is being a bit bossy with the planet, don't you think? There's all these different nations and all these different governments. They want to call the shots for their nation and their vicinity, right? So I have to work with that somehow. I have to work with the boomer dark ages with a symbiosis by creating a world army to end national conflicts, right? Uh, or these nations are going to nuke each other. They always have that potential to end the world just by pushing the button, right? As an individual nation, any one of these nations could end the world tomorrow morning, and that makes the world volatile. That's not global stability, that's the opposite. So we're always on the brink of thermonuclear Armageddon, and that's bad, right? So the main message is that you need to take power out of the hands of psychopaths, right? Psychopaths should not get to be national leaders. And this changes things, right? If the whole public will admit we should not allow psychopaths to be leaders, that allows the guy to lead the First World Army to fire national leaders from their job, right? You cannot be a leader anymore, I say, as the leading sociologist, if you attack another nation, right? That violates international law. And in the US, they're brazenly and proud about not having to abide by international law, right? Well, of course, they're like that because DC is compromised by a foreign government, right? Who wants to use the US military to take over the world, right? So we have to stop them from doing that kinetically uh, because they're into profit, making profit off of war, right? That could end the world. And what if all the billionaires want to hide away in their bunkers and just uh, nuke the whole world, right? Because it makes them money and they just think they can come out after it all and be scot free, right? Maybe that's their big plan. Billionaires and the rich tend to be psychopaths who don't care about human life and human suffering, right? They hunt the homeless on Apex Island. Are you going to give them power? Are you going to give them a military now, right? Just because they're rich doesn't mean they're benevolent, doesn't mean they're humanitarians, right? So you have to notice the hallmarks of a psychopath. They will tell you, I don't care. You might be talking to them and they'll say those words, I don't care. I don't give a shit. That's what they'll say. And call them out. Oh, you don't give a shit? You should be a more caring person. It will get under their skin. Psychopaths don't like good people, right? They want to burn good people with arson when you start a new nation, right? So we know what they're like. They abuse their power like anyone would if they had power, right? Like the Stanford prison experiment. Like how I've never seen my son before. That's parental narcissism. It's in your own family. Your woman wants power, right? So just recognize that, oh, these women don't really love you. They're just having their power fetish, having control of parenting, right? So you have to recognize the boomers were greedy, right? They liked money and they were national narcissists. That doesn't necessarily bode well for the fate of the world. Okay? What if it's profitable for the world to end? What if it's profitable to attack other nations? Right? You can't allow business to integrate with the government like this because they're psychopaths. They're interested in profit, not moral ethics now, right? So instead of a constitutional republic where the president actually understood the Constitution, instead it's an idiocracy where everyone's a moron. No one understands American principles like Ron Paul does anymore, right? That you're not supposed to attack other nations. That goes against American values. Hey, if they made bank of it, you can see why Eisenhower had his military industrial complex speech, right? That's what Assange in WikiLeaks was talking about, money laundering in Afghanistan, right? What is Ukraine? A huge money laundering operation, essentially. And you can hear the military talking about it in front of Congress. The whole idea is to weaken Russia, they say, right? Is that smart? Do Americans want to do that? Do Americans want to go to war with Russia? No, they don't. Did you ask them? No, a tyrannical government is not going to ask Americans what they want. It's not going to care as a psychopath. Don't you understand? Billions and billions going to World War III. Americans are like, what the fuck is going on? Right? Of course, I started a new country 12 years ago, right? I say taxation is theft, right? No taxation without representation. The new government runs by donation, right? The Cascadian was born during the Obama administration simply for failure to understand basic rights, the right to life from the Declaration of Independence for 2.5 centuries, knowing that the majority wants the smartest to lead. I'm going to point that out as the first noocracy representative. Now that it's ruled by the smartest, the public's going to know the truth. Everyone who sees this video is going to find out the truth, that none of these national leaders are relevant anymore if I'm smarter than them, right? They don't care who you are. You have to be the smartest to be the leader now, right? What determines that? How are you going to determine that in your country? How are you going to find the smartest person in your country to join Hawking's table for the new government, where everyone's bolstering my intelligence as a team effort instead of personal attacks, right? It's not about calling Joe dumb if he's the smartest man in the movie Idiocracy, right? They said he had a faggy voice in the movie. That's how they knocked the smartest man down a peg, right? As a speech narcissist. And the deep state wants power too. They like their government jobs. They might not want to lose them. So you have to work with the old government, right? So they're not censoring the new government for 12 years, suppressing the real government for 12 years to keep their government jobs, violating freedom of speech and the First Amendment willingly, knowingly, tyrannically. Yeah, Facebook's not supposed to allow a foreign government to censor the American public. I banned Facebook and they changed their name to Meta. What happens when I make Facebook.die.com? I get 10,000 DDoS attacks, right? I want to live in a free world where liberty matters. If I was the governor of liberty,